Dr. Deepu Moni, Member of Parliament and Honorable Minister, Ministry of Education, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh, and the Chairperson of the Third Convocation of Atish, Dipankar, University of Science and Technology, Professor Dr. Mesbauddin Ahmed, Chairman, Bangladesh Accreditation Council, and Dr. Biswajit Chanda, Member of the UGC of Bangladesh, the Chairman, Mr. Mohammad Liaquat Ali Sikdar, the Board of Trustees, and other honorable members of the Board of Trustees of the University, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Muhammad Zahangir Alam of the University, the Treasurer, members of the Syndicate, Academic Council, Deans of different faculties, faculty members, officers of various ranks, respected guardians, parents, invited guests, invited media personnel, and my young graduate friends. Greetings and a very good morning and Suprabhata. I wish to thank everyone who made it possible for me to be here at the third convocation of the university today from the bottom of my heart, and indeed it is my pleasure. As we know, Atish Dipankar Srigyan, one of the greatest Bengali scholars of the 10th, 11th century, was born in 960 AD in a royal family in the village of Vajrayojini in Bikrampur, Dhaka. He became one of the most influential scholars and reformers of all times. In addition to mastering Buddhism under the great scholar Jetri, he acquired great proficiency in logic, philosophy, and science. He traveled to China and Tibet in search of knowledge and wrote several books. In 1024 AD, he was appointed the principal of the Bhagalpur University, the present-day Bihar in India, and made some outstanding contributions in the field of education. At the tender age of 19, he was officially ordained a monk. At the age of 29, well-read and an erudite scholar that he was conferred the title of Dipankar Srigyan, which means a scholar whose deep thinking and conscience illuminates all around like a bright lamp. The Atish Dipankar University of Science and Technology was founded in 2004 by a group of well-known academics, philanthropists, and businessmen under the Atish Dipankar Foundation. And this was done to honor the educator, the scholar, preacher, and author, the Venerable Atish Dipankar Srigyan. I am honored to be a part of the convocation of a university that has such rich history and inspired so many of you to be educated here and providing an opportunity to lead the great nation of People's Republic of Bangladesh to even greater heights. I am happy to note that on the October 11th last year, the Ministry of Education in the People's Republic conferred the university the status of permanent certificate. This makes it the 5th private university in Bangladesh to have been conferred such an honor on the recommendation of the University Grants Commission. I firmly believe the honor bestowed will make the university the best, both in teaching and research, not only in Bangladesh, but in the rest of the world as well. I congratulate and wish everyone at Atish Dipankar University the very best. My dear young friends, an exciting future awaits you. Even though the world has been quite dramatically transformed between the time you came to the university 3 to 4 years ago and today. Today, I would like to draw your attention to some challenges of the post-COVID world and to suggest how you, the most gifted, talented generation, might see us through it. And in spite of our highly networked and digital times, we do not know the name of the first casualty of the coronavirus pandemic, nor where the pandemic originated from. Probably the first casualty was globalization, as we know it. The rise of economic nationalism, trade wars and protectionism, and anti-immigrant sentiment were all brought to knees by the pandemic. Supply chains were disrupted, as were the movement of capital goods and the people. With global air travel dropping to levels last seen 50 years ago, the pandemic has clearly compelled us to press the panic button and reflect back on our lives. As countries closed borders, people rushed across the globe seeking the safe refuge of home. Several countries tried their best to invent a vaccine for the ills of the pandemic. Some tried, some succeeded. For some, it was work in progress. We all have had at least one vaccine shot. However, we must also look at those who are not so fortunate. In the short term, the vaccine diplomacy will need a lot more sharing, and distributive justice without regard to power or wealth of nation states will need to be applied across the national boundaries. Today, I wish to speak to you on two particular global phenomena which will significantly affect you, your future, that you will be called upon to not only negotiate but also change. These are the deficit of democratic values, the moral ethics, and the digital upsurge. Both were present in pre-pandemic times, but both have come into sharper focus since the pandemic began. If the first has been a victim of the pandemic, the second has been a beneficiary of the pandemic. Let's explore more of the digital upsurge, the online education as we have known, and maybe there are some pointers to the university. But before that, let's pay our respects to the teacher, who is important whether we learn offline or online. And in Sanskrit it is said, Dhyanamulam Gurur Murti, Pujamulam Gurur Padam, Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam, Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa, which means Guru is the teacher. Guru is the root of meditation, feet of the Guru is the root of worship, world of the Guru is the root of mantra, and grace of the Guru is the root of liberation. A traditional Guru-Shishya interface probably is the best way to learn. However, the current day pressures are such that education is sought to be imparted online. The pandemic has, as we all know too well, caused real life to be superimposed onto the screens. For the past 2 years, we have effectively been living online. Bureaucrats, ministers, judges, lawyers, doctors, patients, teachers, students, everyone has been living online. Technology has been wonderful and in fact made our lives bearable, though there were aberrations such as the digital divide. What the Polish philosopher Zygmunt Bauman called liquid modernity may probably be now renamed liquid crystal display or LCD modernity. I am happy to see you all on the campus dressed in your academic gowns and motorboards in the company of your teachers and the friends with whom you forged long-lasting friendships. The digital world has affected us and our lives in quite an unprecedented way. Disruption is the new business buzzword. It has affected education in many ways. Online, blended, hybrid education models are all its manifestations. There are 3 pointers to today's education paradigm. The pressures of a large, growing and young population, exponentially increasing cost of education, and the need to reach the unreached with quality. The widespread use of computers and the internet have made distance learning easier and faster and today's virtual schools and virtual universities deliver full curricula online. Many private, public, non-profit, and for-profit institutions worldwide now offer distance education courses from the most basic instruction through the highest levels of degree and doctoral programs. Levels of accreditation may vary. Widely respected universities such as Stanford and the Harvard now deliver complete online courses. Now the relevance of conventional universities will be challenged even more. A robust online framework to make this work is in itself a major challenge, absence of which will spin off a multitude of below-par certificate holders out of an ecosystem that's seriously short on quality metrics. Rethinking education paradigm is then an emerging truth. Hybrid education could be a way out, a judicious mix and match to create a teaching paradigm that not only limits the ills of the teacher shortages, but also infuses new interest in learning is called for. Online credits acquired in this process must be recognized for the award of degrees and diplomas along with the conventional credits. Currently, the delivery models are rigid, structured, and inflexible. Personalized learning, accumulation of credits, multi-point entry-exit must all be allowed. The implementation strategy, however, must provide a virtual university environment where all universities in Bangladesh become collaborators, creating their own content or sourcing third-party content from Coursera, Udemy, edX-like providers. Our universities must be modeled on Max Planck Society's institutions for basic research and Fraunhofer Gesellschaft Society's institutions for applied research with a focus on productization. The focus must shift from merely publishing papers to producing products. This will create new markets and new employment opportunities. The future universities must be places which coexist with the industry and become large multi-product, multi-process, and multifunctional businesses. They must collaborate with industries on projects that solve real-world problems. You will be the technical force to make it happen. Don't just get involved. Fight for your seat at the table. Better yet, fight for a seat at the head of the table. While doing so, think about horizontal loyalty. Think about turning to people you already know, who are your friends or friends of their friends, and making something that makes sense to you together that is as beautiful or as true as you can make it. Friends, massive funding is needed to improve systems in our universities. Can the industries run a few of them under their CSR initiatives? Can they mentor the universities? It's time to junk the theory that education is not for profit. Quality comes at a price. The funds have to come from somewhere. Industry connect, best practices, product or process-based research and development must all be promoted. Patents and IPRs must be filed. Not only filed, but products must happen. There is a lack of internationalization in our education system. Foreign students and faculty from top institutions around the world are almost nil on our campuses. These are important parameters for global rankings. The success of any university depends on its ability to forge strategic alliances with global international partners. The true nature of internationalization is not specific, is not universal or specific. An IAUCI or an ABET or an IET accreditation brings a completely new perspective to the way we understand and deliver education. The world moved from simple open-loop assessment practices, which were highly input-based, to more reliable closed-loop methods that allowed measurement on outcome-based, on feedback. Is it time we moved from closed-loop accreditation to more adaptive-based systems and move towards quality assurance? We are also confronted with the digital divide or digital inequality because it mirrors and reproduces other forms of inequality in our society. Most important is the inequality of digital access in digital teaching, learning, and conduct of examinations. Friends, we are living in challenging times. As the Greek philosopher Heraclitus said, you never step into the same river twice. However, when change is combined with fear, risk and uncertainty, we find ourselves struggling to make sense of it and floundering in our response to it. What we are seeing today is not just a new version of risk society that sociologists spoke about in the 1980s. Today's risk has a universal quality. It almost no corner of the globe is untouched by it. It also has triggered a universalization of fear, a primal fear of the stranger and of the uncertainty. But we must hope that the shared and collective quality of this fear will enable empathy, social responsibility, social cooperation, and solidarity in ways that we have been manifestly fraying of late. We must ensure equitable provision of basic needs, including health and education to all. Friends, your generation has learned valuable lessons that mine did not have the opportunity to learn. That is, how to negotiate uncertainty and how to make choices under conditions that are unpredictable. These are lessons that will surely stand you in good stead in the post-COVID world. As you advance in your careers, I hope your work will always be animated by the character you possess and the respect you will have for the law. As Bangladesh is surging ahead on all parameters of development, it will always be the youth of the country who will be the most important. You represent that youth. It is my firm belief that the courage in your heart will keep leading your nation in the right direction, both for you and for the future generations. I come from a very modest background. My parents struggled to educate the four of us. I could not appreciate their struggle when I was growing up. Later, after many years when I did, my father was gone. I am sure there are many of you with similar stories. Their show of compassion and unstinted support saw me heading technical education in my country. Respect your parents and stop pretending that you are anything other than what you are, and direct all your energy into finishing the work that matters to you. A single-minded purpose and discipline in life can take you places. You must dream. I think a lot of people dream, but cannot realize their dreams for they lack an inner resolve to translate those dreams into actions. And while they are busy dreaming, the really happy people, the really successful people, the really interesting, engaged, powerful people are busy doing. Hence dream, but connect the passion with action. I once again congratulate all the graduates for your success within the university and believe you will be even more successful outside the university. I would also want to congratulate your parents, teachers, officers, staff, and everyone else in the university for having paved the path that you have chosen to walk. Finally, I would like to end my speech by reciting a couplet in Bangla that every one of you may have heard. Jege otho, sochetan ho, ebong lokhe na pochano porjanto themona. Thank you. And may God bless us all.